This is the first of 3 E5's that I climbed on the day. I was a bit obscure as to whether I on-sighted it or not, because I fell off a couple of times trying to get that first crimp. Yeah, it's a bit controversial because I did fall off, so you know, that would usually invalidate the on-sight, but I also didn't weigh any gear. So yeah, I didn't really know whether I on-sighted it or not, so I asked on the UKC forums, and yeah, the general consensus seems to be that I fell off, so it doesn't count as an on-sight, but there are still quite a lot of people who thinks it counts. One guy said that he jumped off a route into a tree and still counted it as an on-sight, so there we go. The start here is sort of okay, and then you get to this sort of bit that widens out, and this is the crux. You still don't have any gear, so it's a bit scary, but it's not too bad, to be honest. I was quite tall and I could reach through to some better holds. And this is the only bit of gear used in the entire video. After you get the gear, it's okay. It's slightly tricky, but to be honest, you have your gear clipped, so you feel quite safe. After the whole exposed feeling on the start, it's quite nice. So after I climbed the first route of the day, Alex and Will followed up after me.
It's alright, my arse. You're a brave man.
Yeah, nice one. There's another one. Do you want beta or not?
Yeah, of course I want fucking beta.
Hey. Nice one. You want to take out
So Alex recently broke his back, so get well soon, Alex.
How much was it?
Still on. I will climb this stool.
Oh, climb this stool.
Get his big back in.
Whoa, dude. Dude.
Such a clusterfuck going on up here.
Oh, you better send me this footage.
Yeah.
Alright, so first route done. I then rappelled down to try Edge Lane, which I've been thinking about for just over a year now. When I was there on the day, it felt like that was the day to do it. There were no tourists in the quarry to watch me. Both Alex and Will sort of were aware of what the route was and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, you get stood on this sort of okay position, and then after this is the crux. The only gear on this route is below half height. If you were to fall from the top, you'd hit the ground regardless of whether you have gear or not. And that is the reason that I decided to solo it. was on the route, I saw this jug. You can see it from the ground, and I thought that must be the end of the hard climbing. But alas, there was one more kind of tricky move after this point. I spent a while stood there figuring it out, and yeah, eventually it went.
Oh my god. Fucking hell, nice.
Wow, that was scary. That was fucking
You were
scary.
fucking shaking like a leaf.
I'm glad we did it. Oh.
Nice one, bro.
Thanks for filming, Will.
So yeah, Edge Lane on site. I was really chuffed with that.
Fucking hell, you couldn't see how much he was shaking.
Last and not least was a climb that I tried 2 years ago on a hot day, and I did not get very far at all. It's called the Sniveling Shit, or the Sniveling Shits, and it's E5. Again, you can take gear if you want to. A slot at the very top after all of the difficult climbing. So a lot of people just, don't bother. I went over with just the pad and put it down, and then got chatting to this guy who I think is called Ian, who very kindly spotted me on it, and he had a go as well. The climbing is on these ridiculously tiny little edges, but because it's so low angle, you can just about hold on to them. Where I am now is the first okay bit of rock, and then you get another sort of rest just here when you contemplate the final moves. And yeah, there you go, end of a cracking day at Stanage. Don't really know why I hiked in with like my big trad rack, kind of annoying.